Welcome everyone, I'm Federico, and today we will have an introduction to Flutter with Flex Quiz Game. This is the repository of the project that I will share in the description of the video. You can follow up the project step by step with the commits. Every commit is referring to a step. In the step 1, we will display a list of flags. On the step 2, we will add the question, what is the flag of this country? On the step 3, we will display options for buttons. Step 4, we will generate the random question. So now the country is random and also the options. And on the step 5, we will show if the answer is correct or wrong with a background color and an icon. And on step 6, we will wait and generate a new question. To start the project, download this step 0 and extract it and open it with the Visual Studio Code. Run pubget, add enable web for this project, add the web platform to this project, yes, and then run the project. Be sure to reach this step 0, before continuing the video. For the step 1, let's create the quiz file. Quiz, replace the placeholder in main. And in the quiz, we want to give some padding, vertical padding, let's say 20. We want to build a page, so we want a sized box that is centered with a width of 500 and a child, a text. Yeah. Once we have the text, we can replace it with a list view builder, where the item builder contains a context and an index. We don't care about the context. And given the index, we want to display a list style. The list style will have a leading, that is our image, and a title. The title will be a text taking the name of the country. We have the country in the numerator country code, and for each country code, we can access the name of the country. So we just need to do country code, take all the values, and take the one at index, and take the country name. And we can do the same to display a flag with this utility that given country code string, return the image. We also need an item count for the list to know how many elements are in the list, and this can be const. And now we get a list of flags and country, and we can scroll the list. And with this one, we finish step 1. For step 2, we want to add a question. So first of all, we need to have a column to support both the list and the question. So we will have a question, and we will have our list that needs to expand for all the available space. We can make a question widget from material. And the question has a parameter that is the country code. I will call it answer because it's also the country code of the answer that we want to find. And we want to display a text. What is the flag of this country? We import the question and we take as an answer the country code, just an hardcoded value, the first one. So we have our question. Now we can make a better style if you want to. With a default text style of the context, we can take the style, copy it with a different font size, for example, 24. And we can make the country bold by using a rich text that takes a text span with a text that is the first text, a style that is the default style, and a list of other text span. So we can have two text span one with question mark, and one with answer country name. Of course, this is the text for both of them. And the style of the country needs to be in bold. Now we got our question and we finish step 2. For our step 3, we want to have a file called options. And options will have our grid with the children that are the options that we want to pass. So we will need a list of country code. And we need to map each option into a widget. So it's good practice to have a new widget for that called option. Take only a single option. So here we will map our options into the widget option. We want also to give some distances, let's say 10, 10, maybe also some padding, and say primary false. Now we can place in the quiz our list view builder with the options. Before doing that, we can put it in another size box with width 300 and the child options. And we can pass for hardcoded values. Now we have our options. We can have an elevated button for each option with the style that is coming from the elevated button style, an onPress method, and a child that is the image. And here we can print the option. So now we have our 4 options. We can also, using package collection, we can use map indexed instead of map. And with this one, we finish step 3. For our step 4, we need to convert quiz into a stateful widget. So it contains a state. In init state, we will generate a question. So we need const integer, that is the number of options that we want, that is 4. A late variable, that is the answer index. And we want a late list of int, that is the options indexes. So when we need to generate a question, we need to use a random variable. And we can generate it using rand next int, and it takes a maximum value, and the maximum value is given by the country code values length. So here we take random index. In order to do that, we need to get 4 options, and we need to be sure that are unique. So we are using a set, and we need to add to the set this random index until the length of this set is less than the number of options. While after we complete that, we can convert this set into our options. And then we also need to populate the answer index. So our answer will be one of those options. So we just need to say that one of those 4 options is our answer. But those are indexes. So when init the state, we generate the question, but we need also to convert those options into country code. We need to map these options indexes, and for each one of that can take country code values and take the element E, that is our index. We also need to generate the country code for the answer. The index is inside the option indexes with index answer. So we take the answer index that allow us to take the right option index of the answer, and then we convert into the country code. And then we can use these values here and here. And now the question and their options are generated all the time. We refresh the screen. With this, we completed step 4. For the step 5, we need to have a variable option selected and a function to select the option. So the function will get an index, and we can set the state option selected now is equal to index. So now we are refreshing the state, and then this is nullable. So we can do operation based on this variable. For example, we can create a row that contains the question. It contains also a space that can be represented as a pixel, And then there could be another space that is like a placeholder. For example, with 30 and I 30. Now this placeholder will be visible only when the option selected is null. Otherwise, the option selected is equal to the answer. Then we want to take the image correct, and if it's different from the answer, we want to take the image wrong. Now we want to be sure that those images are also of size 30. So we create a variable, result size, and use it here and here. And we can use the same here. We can use a fitted box to be sure that the row always will fit the available space. And we want also to have the main axis size as minimum. Okay, and this shouldn't be late, it should be null. We need to call the select option. So we pass this option here. We can call it on selected option, and it's a function. And we need to pass it for each option, and we can call it every time we press a button. Now we can see that the icon is changing if we press the right option. Now we need to do the background. In order to do that, we also need to pass the answer to know what is the right answer. And we pass the answer to each option. And then we can decide the background color of the button given the answer, but we need also the option selected. That it's a nullable. So now we can say that if the option selected is equal null, the option selected is different from index. Otherwise, if the index is the answer, then we want a color green, otherwise a color red, if the option is equal to the answer. And now we can assign this background color, and we need to pass all the options selected. And this is OR. So if the option is not selected or is not equal to index, we don't want any color. Otherwise, we want to assign the color green or red, depending on the answer. And now we can see that both the icon and the background color are in place, and we finish step 5. Step 6 is simple. We just need to convert this in an asynchronous action, then return a future void so that we can wait for 3 seconds and then set the option again to null. And before doing that, generate questions. With that, we can play the game, and after 3 seconds, the new answer and question is generated.